Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division. Have to get together. To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people.
President-elect Trump vowing to unite all Americans under his administration, as you just heard. So where do both sides go from here? Let's ask our political panel. We have Democratic strategist Jessica Tarlov down on the end. We have Cato Institute polling director Emily Ekins and former advisor to President George W. Bush, Scott Jennings. Thank you all for being with us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Jessica, I'll start with you because you and I saw each other in the hallway. And he did the speech this morning at like 2:45 in the morning. Said, I want to unify America. And for all the people who are against me, I want to learn from you and I want your advice. So what were your thoughts when he said that this morning?
That Kellyanne Conway did another good job. I mean,
she wrote the speech and
someone did. Donald Trump didn't write the speech. We know when he's ad-libbing, and he did a little bit of it. His personality was infused there. He said exactly what he needs to say. But the truth of the matter is that whoever would have won last night or this morning is going to have a really steep challenge in unifying this country. She said deplorable and irredeemable. He has alienated large swaths of the population, especially minorities. It's a steep challenge ahead, but all the credit to Donald Trump in the world and his campaign for what they managed to accomplish.
All right, Scott, you were talking in the green room. Now he has to deliver because America's put their trust in him. How does he do that? How do we go forward?
Well, they not only put their trust in him, but they put their trust in a Republican Senate. They put their trust in a Republican House. And so after years of Americans feeling like Washington was dysfunctional, they've delivered a clear system of government where Republicans can deliver. And so Trump ran on a clear platform. The Republicans ran on a platform of repealing Obamacare and other things. They now have to deliver that, and the American people have delivered a system under which they can deliver over the next 2 years. So Trump should get with the Republican leadership immediately and figure out quick action, because I think that's what a message from this election really was.
Emily, you're director of polling at Cato. When these numbers started coming in last night, the exit poll numbers at 5:15, it clearly looked like Hillary Clinton was going to win. So what went wrong with the polling here?
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's hard the likely electorate correct. And also we had a high number of voters who were voting for third-party candidates or were undecided. And when you have that occur, you have a lot of uncertainty going into the election. So we have about 5% of all voters voting for a third-party candidate, up to 10% among independents and millennial voters. So that really kind of threw, I think, a lot of the pollsters. But also, Hillary Clinton underperformed in almost every category. Donald Trump did not actually win or he did win the white vote, but he didn't actually drive white turnout or do dramatically better than Mitt Romney did among white voters. Instead, Hillary Clinton did worse among white voters than Barack Obama did. She did worse among Latinos, among African Americans, millennials.
Because people then wanted a change, and now they want to change again. Now, Jessica, where as a country do we go from here? Because everyone wants to unite now. We're so tired of this election. There were so many just low
Well, that was the overwhelming result, right? 85% saying they feel anxious and they just want it over with.
Yes.
So, listen, I thought, you had Lisa Booth on earlier in the show, and I think that she's right about finding common ground policies that we can work together on. I think that whoever was going to be in charge was going to have to olive branch across there and say there are things that we agree on. Certainly on infrastructure, Donald Trump is one of the biggest spending Republicans that they've ever seen. And smart tax reform, Democrats are going to have to give up probably some of these tax hikes and simplify the code, and hopefully can hang on to some of these entitlement programs. Donald Trump also hasn't wanted to cut entitlements. So I think there are big conversations we can have. And it'll be interesting to see if he softens the rhetoric on things like the travel ban from 34 countries or the wall on the southern border, things that are pretty much non-starters with Democrats. But there was something I was thinking about last night as this was unfolding during TV and radio, is that I almost wonder if the colors of the map now shouldn't be blue and red, but kind of insider, outsider. People who wanted change and just something different versus people who wanted an establishment candidate.
Glad you brought that up.
Yeah, they want a strong leader.
Right.
Now, Scott, what does this say about, because Donald Trump won, the outsider's voice is the stronger voice here?
Right.
What does that say about the just average Joe, not the elitist, not the establishment?
Well, this election was about the standard American worker, the guy, the lady who gets up every morning and goes to work and comes home and tries to raise a family and leave a better life behind. That's who this election wound up being about. Donald Trump did 20 points better in Youngstown, Ohio than Mitt Romney did. And that's a blue-collar town in Ohio. And so you can see this was a...
Sorry to interrupt you, but we're putting up this map. Look at the map.
It is so red.
It is so red.
I mean, crazy red.
And not only did he do better in those blue-collar industrial towns, but look at rural America. The urban-rural divide in this country is real, and rural America rose up in this election, and they delivered the White House to Donald Trump, and they delivered Republican control in Congress. And so we have a realignment of the map, at least for one election. Republicans have the mandate and the responsibility to deliver on it if they hope to hold it for the next cycle.
Emily, what was it that Donald Trump did that really resonated with the voters? Because he's a billionaire. He spent more than $100 million of his own money on this campaign. How did he relate to the working class man and woman?
Well, I think a lot of people out there feel like they're not respected by the elites, the people that went to the fancy schools, the people that live in D.C. And he said, I respect you and I care about you. They want people that play by the same set of rules that they do. And even though Donald Trump bragged about not actually following the same set of rules, at least he acknowledged that people in elite circles should be. They want respect. They want to have greater say over the laws that are regulating their lives. They want to have more say about how their tax dollars are spent, if their tax dollars are actually going to benefit themselves. And that's really important. I think the problem, though, is that there has been a tolerance of bigotry in this election. That doesn't mean that it's about bigotry. It just means that there's a tolerance of it. And as a result, Donald Trump has turned off big blocks of voters, particularly Hispanic and Asian American voters. 70% of Hispanics believe that Donald Trump is hostile to them, and 40% believe the Republican Party is hostile to them.
Well, now that he's won, we're going to have to see if he really can unify the country.
Well, there is a tradition that Republicans can get this done. If you look at Congressman Jack Kemp, the father of the enterprise zone, where he went into African-American communities and offered tax incentives, to start small businesses there. These are things Donald Trump needs to think about, and his advisors, because he doesn't really know what he's doing himself, are going to be critical.
Jessica, Emily, Scott, thank you so much for being with us this morning.